Yeah, I mean, I guess it's it's a really big industry, right? So financial services is payments to someone, it's insurance to someone else, it's savings to other people, it's lending. So I think that there's different speeds that all of these things are moving at, and there's different kind of types of innovation that are happening. All right. Our focus has been very much around core financial products that people buy and that people use every day, and giving access to essentially, or enabling access to better financial products and being able to run them. And I think we've seen actually that happen in payments already, because you can pay for stuff really easily. You can pay for stuff very fast without really thinking about it. The friction of buying a pint now is like minimal. You just go contactless. So I think it's naturally going to happen probably over the next sort of 10 to 15 years in all of these spaces, because actually people are going to be buying these products, are going to be buying pensions and insurance products and loans and so forth, are not used to paper forms. They don't get the concept of walking and speaking to someone. They perhaps don't even prefer to do that, right? So I think it's going to happen, and the platform platforms are going to come up in being able to serve a lot of these niches, and then you're probably going to start seeing a lot of interaction between these platforms, where people just want the one-stop shop, and they just want to say, I've got I need to buy travel insurance, and I need to get FX as a really sort of simple sort of concept. But you don't want to go to two places. You don't want two separate apps, or it adds friction, it adds confusion, and that sort of homogeneous experience becomes quite important. It's maybe not a case of like how do you avoid becoming legacy in the future. I think the way I like to think of it is, how do you make sure you do the best possible thing when it's your time, right? Because if you're not doing that, and you haven't sort of produced something that's genuinely differentiated or really moves the needle for your clients, and more importantly their customers, you're sort of you're not really going to have anything that actually lasts long enough necessarily for it to become legacy. And like a lot of these kind of older systems right now, and mainframe systems or whatever, that people like to slam when they're kind of being interviewed around, oh, it's a mainframe system, or oh, it's like sort of legacy thing from like 30 years ago. Well, they're still being used because actually they're really good at the problems they solved, which were the big problems in their day and age, and they're still around because they still serve the use cases, but those aren't modern day use cases anymore, right? So, and the people who built those aren't around anymore, or don't work anymore, or whatever. And that's just kind of it. But I'm sure they had a great ride whilst it was happening, right? And they did their piece, and then it's time to move on. Like.